on College Press Box, Texas basketball took part in the 2K Classic.
Women's basketball heads out to the west for some Californian competition.
And Texas turkey ball football is ready to get rolling.
All that and more, it's College Press Box.
Welcome back to your favorite sports show, College Press Box. Jett, did you watch the 2K Classic this weekend?
Yes, I did, and the Horns performed great, got those 2 wins. It was an awesome tournament.
Absolutely. Let's get right into it. The Longhorn basketball team took on California this past Friday to win the 2K Classic Championship. Let's check out the highlights from Madison Square Garden. Rick Barnes and Javon Felix take a moment before the game. Now moving in, Texas leads 7-4. Miles Turner goes into work with the hook. Texas goes up 9-4. Cal looks to drive into the basket, but Miles Turner once again swats the ball away. Texas goes up to lead the game. Turner does it all, this time shows off his passing skill and finds Jonathan Holmes for the pass in the bucket. Texas goes up 18-10. Texas now leads the game 26-16. Turner continues to do work, but this time he misses the first moves, but does his own rebound to help. Texas is up 31-21 at the half. Second half, Texas leads 33-21. And look at that block once again from Cameron Ridley. 5 rows back deep. That is wonderful, folks. Now Texas leads the game 41-31. DeMarcus Hollins finds that Prince eBay for the post. And Texas won that one fantastic 2K basketball game. Now we welcome to the studio tonight basketball analyst Cooper Irwin. How's it going tonight, Cooper?
Going great. I'm doing very well.
Texas basketball had a fantastic so far this season. What are your thoughts on this year's team?
Texas basketball looks really great so far. They've brought everyone back from last year's team, and then they added a really good freshman in Jordan Barnett, and of course the number 2 prospect in the freshman class, Miles Turner. And Texas has one of the deepest teams in college basketball, going 11 deep in the rotation. The transition and size matches up with anyone in the country. And Cam Ridley, Prince eBay, Miles Turner, they make it a block party every night. Texas is averaging 7 blocks a game. And I've been really impressed with Texas's defense so far. Opponents have shot just 27%, 29%, 29%, and 33% so far. And that's really good, making the opponents inefficient. And I think Texas will definitely improve this year, and I could definitely see them making a Final Four run.
Man, it was definitely a perfect start to the season, of course, getting their first, tourney action, of course, it was only 2 games. Definitely better teams than the first 2 matchups. And, Texas came out to play. They even came back from Iowa, did not play well in the first half, but came in and ended up getting a blowout win. And then the same thing with Cal, took care of Cal, even with the Isaiah, injury. But, just the way the Horns do it, everyone's consistent, and there's depth on this team.
There is depth.
That's great.
I'm excited. So Isaiah Taylor, like Jett mentioned, will be out 4 to 6 weeks with a broken wrist. Although Taylor was out in the game against California, senior forward Jonathan Holmes stepped up to the plate. How will Taylor's absence affect the team, and how do you see Holmes contributing this season? Cooper, we'll start with you first.
The Isaiah Taylor injury, it really hurts Texas. After Miles Turner, I consider him the second best player on this team along with Jonathan Holmes. And Isaiah has that tremendous ability to drive, get to the basket, score, or dish the ball out for an assist. And he also has that elite speed that he can be a one-man fast break, kind of like John Wall at Kentucky. And that really helps get the Texas offense going. And this year, the one thing in his game, he's improved his shooting. He was shooting 50% from 3, which is what he struggled with last year. So I saw this as being a probable breakout year for Isaiah Taylor, and this really hurts. It's a big setback for him. But hopefully Javon Felix can step up and lead the starters while he's out. It looks like Taylor will miss the game against UConn and Kentucky, so that will really hurt Texas. They'll have to get contributions from everyone to step up. But I think that hopefully he'll be back by conference play. And along with Jonathan Holmes, Holmes has just really been stepping up. He provides Texas with the outside shooting that they desperately need. He's shooting over 60% from three so far this year, which is just crazy. He gets rebounds, leads the team with like 8.3 a game. He scores. He scored a combined 40 points in the 2K tournament. He averaged 20 there. So he stepped up once Isaiah went out with the scoring load. And I think that if Holmes keeps up this play, he can definitely be an NBA prospect, maybe second-round pick this year, as he's the only senior on Texas, and his senior leadership is really being a presence.
No, I'm gonna have to agree with him as well. Isaiah, Taylor, it's a huge injury. His speed is gone, his hustle and his playmaking ability all gone. Now Javon Felice is a decent backup. He played last year. He started most of the games. So we'll see how it is. Unfortunately, sometimes he's either hot or he's cold. So really, I don't want that to pave the way for Texas again, because that's how the season went last year. Mm-hmm. So hopefully Taylor will come back and Texas can continue using its depth and all its other players, including Jonathan Holmes, as Cooper mentioned, to continue to win.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. And with that, you have newcomer Miles Turner. He was ranked as ESPN's second player in the nation from the class of 2014. Miles has so far met expectations, but what do y'all have in for his game that will be most beneficial to this 2014-2015 Texas season?
Yeah, Miles, he's looked really good so far, and while he won't have the scoring impact of a top player in the country like Kevin Durant did when he was here, he's still going to mean a lot to Texas on both offense and defense. He reminds me of a combination of Dirk and Serge Ibaka with the length and the shot blocks. And in the first game of the season, Turner hit those 3 outside shots in a row, and then he had that one-legged fadeaway like Dirk, which was just great. And then the next game, he blocked 6 shots. So with averages of 8.8 points, 6 rebounds, and 2.5 blocks a game, he's showing the impact he can have on different aspects. So I like his versatility. And right now, he's only playing 19 minutes a game, so I think his playing time is going to go up as the season goes on, and he'll have even more of an impact.
Thanks, Jett. Thanks, Cooper. You, Jett.
And I'm going to have to agree with Cooper here. As he mentioned, 19 minutes per game, and he still puts up really decent stats. A lot of the, like Jaleel Okafor, they're usually in the game a lot longer, so he's not even in the game less than half of the game. And so Miles Turner, he can score from anywhere. He can post up down low. As you see with the highlights there, he's great at faking, and he can hit those, deep twos. So I think Miles Turner really is going to bring in a lot for this Texas team, and hopefully now that point guard Isaiah Taylor's hurt, hopefully, we'll see what they do with the lineup, and Miles might actually see just a little more playing time just because of that, because they're going to have to get some length on the court. But, I think Miles Turner, his ceiling is high.
It is high.
He hasn't been used as much as maybe people thought, but Rick Barnes has a reason for that, and I think he will increase playing time.
Absolutely. This team is going to have to work together in order to see this entire team come together. So now we're moving in. Thank you, Cooper, for coming to the studio tonight. We appreciate it. And now we're moving on to talk unstoppable Texas volleyball and the result of the women's soccer team and the NCAA tournament. Stay tuned. It's College Press Box. Welcome back to College Press Box. Let's get right into Texas volleyball. We're going right into the first with the Baylor Bears. The volleyball team played them in the Big 12 tournament. This was the Horns' 16th road victory in the Big 12. So now we're going to move into the highlights of the game. So Texas plays Kansas, and there was attack error by Tiana Dockery, but blocked by Chiaka Obagu and Paulina Stremaine. Still in the first set, we have a Nicole Dodden sets up for Molly McGay for the kill. Look at that. Now, second set, Texas is up 4-3. Attacked plot by Madison Ridgen, blocked by Molly McKay and Paulina Stremaine. Second set, Texas is up 19-19. That was tied. Attack error by Kat Bell, blocked by Taylor Sway and Sarah McClinton. Second set, still tied 23-23. Coley Collins sets up Paulina Stremaine, who gets the kill. Look at that. And now we're moving up into the third set. An attack error by Chelsea Abrams, blocked by Amy Neal and Molly McKay. Point Texas, and Texas goes on to win their Big 12 championship that they were wanting all season. And we're introducing the package. The women's volleyball team faced these Kansas Jayhawks this past Saturday at Gregory Gym. College press box Luana Solas has more on this match.
The Longhorns got their 14th sweep of the season this Saturday against the Kansas Jayhawks. Senior Haley Eckerman led UT with 9 kills, and junior Molly McCage led with 7 blocks. Despite the Jayhawks' defense, Texas took charge, winning all 3 sets.
You know, I just felt like they were ready to play today. It's one of our best serving passes we've had in a while. They're taking good swings. I think they put a lot of respect into this team. When these guys put a lot of thought into it and the way they prepare, I think they've got a lot of confidence in what they can do, and they believe in themselves, and they've been in a lot of these battles. So it was nice to see.
With the Big 12 championship win under their belt and 2 games left in the season, the Longhorns' main focus is finishing out with a strong RPI and getting ready for the playoffs in December.
Yeah, you know, I told them actually before the game, I said I've been watching a lot of film, and you know, I think there's a lot of parity within the game. And you know, I don't think we need to be perfect every single night. We just got to go out and play and find a way to win each match. And tonight's, you know, we felt like Kansas is a Sweet 16 type caliber team. They're right there for the RPI to be that. But we've got 2 matches remaining now. You know, we're fighting for an RPI seed and kind of seeing where we'll end up.
After the game, the Horns received their Big 12 championship win trophy and celebrated with the fans.
These girls have put their work in since the summer, stayed here and committed to themselves, and all the things we do behind the scenes to be successful, you know, is seen now with the trophy. You know, our fans have a big part of that. They're wonderful, and they keep growing and getting more and more. We need them. You know, we are going to probably sell out for Florida next week, and you know, our goal is to sell out for the first and second rounds. That's the ones that we need them behind us.
Luana Solis, College Press Box.
The women's basketball team headed out on a western road trip that started with a matchup against top-ranked Stanford, who boasted a 28-game home winning streak. The game came down to the wire with Empress Davenport making a shot with just over a second left on the clock to send the game into overtime. The Horns took over from there, outscoring the Cardinal 12-6 in overtime and winning 87-81. Senior forward Nneka Impali led the Horns with 18 points on 8 of 11 shooting, and sophomore center Kelsey Lang added 14 points and 9 rebounds. The win marked the first time the Horns have beaten a top 10 team in almost 6 years.
And now the Horns basketball team faced the UCLA Bruins this past Sunday in Los Angeles. Freshman guard Brooke McCarty came off the bench and scored 20 points. Ariel Akins contributed with the 14 points, and Kelsey Lang had 12 points. The Horns out-rebounded the Bruins 50-34, including 12 offensive rebounds that led 20 second chance points. Texas defeated UCLA 75-65.
Texas soccer faced off against number 12 Notre Dame in the second round of the NCAA tourney. Junior midfielder Lindsey Meyer scored on a header in the 20th minute off a corner kick from senior Sheriff LaChapelle. Notre Dame responded late in the first half with a goal by Anna Gilbertson, and the teams remained tied up until late in the match. With just under 5 minutes to go, Notre Dame's Karen Muya fired a shot just inside the left post and put Notre Dame up 2-1. A late surge by the Horns fell short, and Notre Dame knocked them off by a score of 2-1.
To recap this women's soccer season as a whole, it started out strong. Where the Horns faced difficulty was in conference play. Horns ended their season with 11-8-4 overall record. Fans can look forward to head coach Angela Kelly's stellar senior playmakers Lindsey Meyer, Kelsey Schmidt, and Abby Smith to help lead the Horns next season.
Texas men's cross country wrapped up their season this weekend at the NCAA championship. Out of the 31 teams that qualified, the Longhorns finished in 26th place. Senior Craig Lutz, who finished 15th last season, was at the front of the pack until he fell down momentarily. The fall dropped back Lutz back from the pack, and he eventually finished 51st with a time of 31 minutes and 5.4 seconds. Mark Pinales was the second Longhorn across the finish line, finishing 142nd with a time of 31 minutes and 53.4 seconds.
Texas hosted the diving invitational this past weekend. Senior Emma Ivory Ganhe made a professional best of 395.4 points in the women's 3-meter diving finals. Junior Megan Houston overcame an early defeat and claimed the 1-meter diving event. Finally, sophomore Murray Bromberg put away the win with her last dive. She claimed her total 306 360.7 points with a final dive, a back in 2.5 somersault with 1.5 twists that went for 81.4 points. And coming up, we will have this exciting to talk Big 12 football and keys to Texas's bye week, so stay tuned. It's College Press Box. Thanks for staying with us, folks. Now we're talking Texas football against TCU. So now we have these new rankings. Baylor is ranked ahead of TCU. What are your thoughts about these rankings for this week?
So honestly, I agree with the poll pretty much. I believe Florida State, obviously undefeated, definitely deserves to be in there. Alabama, impressive all season. Mississippi State there. Now on to the Baylor TCU matchup. The Big 12 schools. I honestly believe Baylor deserves to be above TCU. Honestly, just based on the fact that Baylor beat TCU when it mattered. No matter where it was at home or away, TCU had a chance to close out that game. They were up 21, and Baylor came back and they beat him. And so to me, that shows that Baylor is better. They play all 4 quarters. They come back, regardless if it was a comeback or not. And I think just the way Baylor's played, TCU, that's their only loss. But when you put those teams back together, TCU was, of course, ranked higher than Baylor at first. But I think, with Baylor winning last week and TCU, the still shaky even in that Kansas game. I think just the way the teams need to be. I think Baylor's a lot better at controlling the game, especially every single game, really. And I think Baylor deserves to be above TCU for sure.
Absolutely, and you have very valid points, and we'll certainly see that in their run base this weekend. So back to Texas. What are TCU's strengths and weaknesses?
So, obviously, TCU's strengths their offense. TCU puts up points all the time. Haven't scored under 30 points this entire season. Second in the nation in points. Rushing attacks crazy. Of course, you have dual threat quarterback Trayvon Boykin, who can also throw. Two wide receivers with 7 TDs apiece. Honestly, it's not just one player. Trayvon Boykin obviously leads the troops, puts everything together. And so, really, their weakness is actually Trayvon Boykin as well, because if you stop Trayvon Boykin, you can do a lot of damage to the Horned Frogs. Now their defense, of course, is shaky as well. They've been giving up lately points to a lot of people, including Kansas, who's last in the Big 12. So just the way the Horns, I think the Horns can actually play well against TCU, just based on their defense. And so I think really it's stopping their strong offense is really what they really have to do.
Absolutely. So, what are keys for Texas to beat this TCU team?
So, as I mentioned, their offense is hard. It's really hard to stop. It's one of the best in the nation. But luckily, the Texas defense is amazing. Texas defense definitely the best in the Big 12, no doubt about it. And this is going to be the hardest defense that TCU has faced all year. So, who knows how TCU will show? Trayvon Boykin, you really got to keep him in the pocket. He's a dual threat. You can't let him use his legs, because the legs allow him to get out of the pocket. You can either run with him, or you can either make the play longer and stretch out time. And you gotta stop his ability to scramble, and you gotta start fast. Okay, Longhorn offense, a lot of times they don't show up in the games. They've been starting strong recently, but they like really the third quarter. First half is great, third quarter always pan out, and so they just need to play 4 quarters. That's really what it boils down to. When if the defense does get turnovers, you got to capitalize. You got to bring their A game, and they've got to play. So honestly, it's just how it works. The offense has to score when they're given the chance, and the defense just needs to stop Trayvon Boykin.
Absolutely, it's simple as this, folks. Offense plays well offense, defense plays well defense. We'll get this victory.
Bingo.
So coming up, we have your favorite sports personality, Peter Sblendorio, and a preview of Longhorn sports coming up this week. Don't go anywhere, folks. It's College Press Box.
Thanks for sticking with us here on College Press Box. We've got the next installment of the Sblendorio Suite, where we're talking some Texas TCU football on Thanksgiving Day.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome inside the Sblendorio Suite. I'm Peter Sblendorio, right here in the heart of UT's campus. You know, a lot of the students and a lot of the fans of the show have been clamoring to get us out here for a public appearance, so here we are appeasing the masses. I'm joined by Julian Owens right now. Julian, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Peter. How about yourself?
I'm doing well. Now, Julian, I wanted to bring you on here today because Texas has a big game coming up against TCU, the number 5 team in the nation. Texas has done a lot better its last 3 games after starting 3-5. They've won 3 in a row. They're playing well on offense. They're playing well on defense. And you know, call me crazy, but I'm going to make a bold claim here, and I'm going to pick Texas to win this game. I think Texas has a really good chance of beating TCU, and here's why. Right now, Texas is playing as well as it has on offense all year long. The defense is also doing really well. Its last 3 opponents haven't scored more than 16 points, okay? Now, TCU relies very heavily on the pass with Trayvon Boykin. Now, Texas is the best pass defense in the Big 12, allowing 40 less yards than anybody else passing the ball this year. So that's pretty impressive. Meanwhile, TCU has struggled a lot on the road. They lost to Baylor in their first road game of the Big 12 conference play, and they only lost by 3 points, but it was still a loss. Next game, they beat West Virginia by 1 point, and then last week they beat Kansas by 4 points, and Kansas is one of the worst teams in the nation as far as the Power 5 teams go, okay? So right now, I look at it, Texas, at home, against a team that hasn't played that well on the road, playing a team that relies very heavily on the pass, and Texas stops the pass really well. The Longhorns have been playing well on offense, they're playing well on defense. Right now, I think all the signs are pointing to Texas pulling off the upset and beating TCU on Thanksgiving.
Oh, this sounds very good, Peter, but I'd have to disagree with you. I think TCU will come into DKR and beat Texas. I just think, unfortunately for you can say it, they've been consecutive and consistent for these last 3 games. They pulled it off really well with with the running game. They did well with the passing game as well, with swoops going in and actually being very consistent, really. I have to agree with you on that. But as far as going against very good defensive opponents, I think TCU is still one of those good defensive teams that people really don't try to like way off. They just say, you know, TCU is just really on Boykin. They win all our games on Boykin's on his pass rush, but I don't really think that people really worry about, you know, TCU's defense, and that's what really helped them win against Kansas. Also with that, TCU, they had a very weird game against Kansas with 3 turnovers. You really don't see that with the TCU's offense. And I think that's the only reason why that game was so close against Kansas. Now, with that being said, I don't think Texas will come in, try to force a lot of turnovers. They will stop them on 3rd down a lot, but I don't think they're going to stop Trayvon tearing them up in the secondary unless Quandre has a miraculous game like he has for the past couple of games. So I still think this will be a very close game, but Texas will lose this game.
Keep in mind, Texas, against the 3 best opponents right now in the Big 12, quarterback-wise, first 2, Clint Trickett and Bryce Petty, worst games of the season. Let's see if we can make it the 3-peat this week against TCU and Trayvon Boykin. Julian, thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you, Peter, for bringing me.
And have a happy Thanksgiving from all of us here at the Sblendorio Suite.
This week we have some Longhorn sports coming for you. Men's basketball team versus St. Francis at 7 p.m. On Wednesday, we have the volleyball team at TCU. Women's basketball versus UT Pan American. Thursday, we have football versus TCU. Everybody get excited for that one.
And on Saturday, the 29th, we have volleyball versus Florida at 1:30 on Longhorn Network. And Sunday, we have men's basketball at Connecticut. That's going to be a great game at 11 a.m. on ESPN2. And women's basketball versus Tennessee at 5:30. Also going to be a great matchup on Fox Sports 1.
All right, so, Jett, did you see the Isaiah Taylor Instagram post?
Yes, I did.
That selfie?
Yes.
That was good.
Selfie with the team. Here it is for you, for the folks that are watching this right now. Of course, Isaiah Taylor definitely had to take the selfie with his right hand, unfortunately, because his left hand wrist, of course, it was hurt. But just look at the team, you know, coming off their first little tourney win. I mean, you can't be happier than that. You know, start out 4-0 on the season, and now you move up to 7 in the polls. It doesn't get better than that.
It doesn't, and we're excited just like everyone else is here. So now we're going to talk back to Turkey Day football. Okay. What is your prediction for this game?
All right, so I've been hard on the Hordes recently, of course, but when you look at it, I mean, it's a 3-game. They're going in with a 3-game winning streak. Mm-hmm. You know, there's a lot of momentum. Of course, TCU, they have their own winning streak of their own. But you come into Texas on Thanksgiving Day. I think, honestly, this is going to be where Texas plays their perfect game on offense and on defense. And I think they actually come out with the win. You know, I think it's still going to be sort of high scoring. I think UT, though, gets the win 31-28 on Thanksgiving Day.
I like it. I like the positivity. So tune in to College Press Box every Monday at 9 p.m. and College Crossfire on Wednesday at 9 p.m. also. You can follow us on Twitter at College Press Box. For everyone in the studio, Master Control, Jett, Cooper, and myself, have a wonderful Thanksgiving.